each of you have been to, or each of you in some way have been involved with an independent show. What is the level of hecklers, or the level of interaction among hecklers and wrestlers? Because that's something that, because you have that intimacy, and if you're like me, like when I was playing other sports, I had rabbit ears, so I could hear any and everything. I don't care if you're in the first row or the 30th row, I could hear any and everything. But have you seen where maybe a heckler's gone too far and the situation has gotten out of hand, or maybe a heckler has like said something really hilarious and the wrestler broke character because it was so funny and they just kind of reacted to it? Steve, why don't you talk about that? Because I think you being a promoter.
Well, I the moment you started saying this question, one thing came into mind. 2010, I was in Los Angeles, and it was a PWG show, but not in their usual arena. It was part of a bigger wrestling convention. It was in a hotel ballroom. And Kevin Steen, who would go on to become Kevin Owens in WWE, was having a match with somebody. It might have been Chris Hero. And some guy in the audience was heckling Kevin Steen. And Steen, if you've ever listened to him, been around him, he's just super quick, super smart, super funny, does not take any crap. So some guy's heckling him in the audience, and Steen is heckling the guy back. And in the middle of the match, Steen would like hit a body slam, talk trash to the guy, do something else, talk trash to the guy. He did it for the entire match. Like 15 minutes. He just kept going back and forth with this guy in the audience. And then he won the match and like stared the guy down and walked off. And the guy was not a plant. It was just some drunk dude in the audience. The greatest things I've ever seen.
See, that's something that I would love, I would love to be a part of, because that would also be me, so I can relate to the heckling experience. But, that's a great story, because I can see that. Demetrius, how about you?
I was at a indie show. One of the great things about indie shows is when you can see, I don't want to see guys past their prime, but you see some guys that you saw on WWE for years, and now they're working a gym in Markham, Illinois somewhere. And it was Alberto Del Patron, I think it's what he goes by, outside of WWE, and he was fighting MVP. Both two guys who were in WWE, and now they're working. It was a packed show, but definitely was not all state. And I was just giving MVP the business, because I saw him like smashing a Subway sandwich maybe 30 minutes before the show or something. So I'm giving him all this grief. The action rolls out of the ring. I was in first, second row. Alberto whips MVP basically onto me. And I don't know if it was because I was talking so much stuff, but here I got this 230-pound sweaty man thrown on me. And I ain't gonna lie, I got knocked back and it hurt, but it was the greatest night of my life. It was fantastic.
Did you have your belt on in the crowd?
Huh?
Did you have your belt on in the crowd?
I did have my belt on in the crowd, and I didn't spill my beer. I'm very proud to say that. Didn't spill my beer.
That's a win-win. You held on to the belt, you held on to your beer. So that's a win-win.
Yes, sir.
Tom, how about you?
Honestly, mine, I don't know if you necessarily, if I can talk, call it heckling, but there was this one group of people, and I've seen them at multiple events. I've seen them at a Warrior show, and I saw them shortly thereafter at an Impact show that I went to. It was Impact's their big event of the year, Bound for Glory. They had it at was it the Odeum? I think it was.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And the same group of people was there. I don't know if they're a family or if they're just like a group of musicians, but it was, they bring drums and noisemakers. It's very like Lucha Libre. It's a Lucha Libre tradition is what it is. And, Steve gets a lot of Lucha stars for Warrior. So, they were out for that, and they were, playing all the different beats, and the crowd was loving it. The wrestlers were loving it. They, you had like Pentagon and Phoenix up on the ropes pointing at them, telling them to keep playing and stuff like that. And Brian Cage, who was the Warrior champion at the time, his thing is the Terminator clap, they call it, and these guys are playing out on the drum for him. And same thing at the Impact event a few weeks later, and it was just a lot of interaction between the wrestlers and this group that was there. So I thought that was really cool. And again, that's something you don't see at WWE stuff.
Yeah, and I think for and I think to have this conversation is good, because for many fans that aren't necessarily into the sport hardcore, but have a passing interest or just enjoy it, but aren't what we consider hardcore fans, they really don't understand what the independent experience could be like. It's similar to, for lack of a better term, going to a minor league baseball game versus a professional baseball game, where you're able to have those conversations with people afterwards, besides monographs. You know, it's just a different feel. And I think this will help just grow the sport on the local level, because a lot of people can't afford to go to some of the mainstream wrestling events and things like that, whether it be finances or location to see certain wrestlers. So this definitely offers another alternative for those people that are still interested in the sport. So with